What is county jail and what is prison?
Prison is like hardcore stuff. It's really cold in there. It's quiet and loud at the same time. But there's random yelling and shit. I got into a school fight. She hit her head and got a concussion.
What do you think about the current administration?
The argument is that he's leading us into another war. There's nothing benevolent about airstrikes, but there are Americans here who believe that they're not being represented as much as other interests.
This is crazy. You just told me, so you were 17 and you went to jail,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At 17 and going to jail is already a mind-boggling thing for me, right? How long did you go there for?
60 days.
60 days.
Yeah.
I mean, even 60 days, I think, is more than enough to show you like what prison or jail does to you, I guess.
Yeah, it's really irritating. You're just sitting there. It's really cold in there. I guess they want to keep down on diseases or whatever illnesses. But yeah, it's really boring and irritating. It's kind of common actually, both for white Americans, Black Americans, maybe even some Hispanic Americans. Yeah, you do a little county jail time. But I've never been to prison though.
So, okay, like explain to me what is county jail and what is prison.
So county jail is like, let's just say you're going, I think it's 20 miles over the speed limit or something. They can take you to jail, and so that's what jail is, county jail. Whereas prison is when, like, whatever your sentence is, you can get sentenced to. So if you get sentenced to 90 days in jail, technically you're supposed to do that in prison, but you're probably going to do most of that in the county jail and then get transferred over and that type of thing. So prison is where like you get transferred to, but county jail is where like you get drunk and fight in a bar or something. You know,
Okay.
like normal stuff. But prison is like hardcore stuff. Yeah.
So you're saying county jail is common in America? It's not like sort of a big thing. Are you saying that, or is it common for black guys, Hispanic guys, or
It's common for a certain tax bracket, right? Like middle class families or like families that have a decent amount of money.
yeah?
They probably, this probably doesn't happen a lot with their demographics, but yeah, it's pretty common. People, go to jail for minor stuff, go to jail and get out. Not like some long like rap sheet, like multiple things. Like you might have gotten into a fight here, and you may have a DUI. Right.
I
One.
mean, I get that, but still, you went there for 2 months, right? And you went there for what? Explain that.
Oh, I got into a school fight basically. This dude called me a name. I called him a name. He flinched at me. So I threw the first punch. Technically, a flinch is not a punch. So he flinched at me, and then we threw down, and so I got expelled for that because there was an assistant principal who got a concussion as a result of the commotion. It wasn't all my fault, but I was a part of it.
No, okay, wait. So they gave you the reason. There was some woman who got a concussion because of this happened.
Right.
It happened in the school.
Yeah.
So she was like, was present there or what?
Yeah, she was behind me, and I didn't see her. I saw the basketball coach and the first sergeant of the jail. I was in JROTC at the time.
But like, how aggressive was the fight? Was it like you were just punching each other, or like what was exactly happening?
We were like grabbing and punching each other. They were trying to break us up.
But it was more like a teenager fight then, right? Like
Yeah.
you were 17-year-olds. I think it's not like a big fight if you're just like fighting with your hands, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she hit her head though. She hit her head and got a concussion. And
She hit her head where?
like on the wall, she was standing. Like she got like I said, we were like tussling.
Yeah.
And like also there's people trying to break us
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So it's a big ball and like she's like on the outside of the ball and like kind of got pushed.
And what happened to the other guy? Did they expel him as well?
Yeah, he got expelled, and I don't know what happened with his legal case, but he got expelled also. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, this is very interesting for me because I don't know. Even if it's county jail, I think like from like my perspective, from like an Indian's perspective, it's like a jail for me.
Right.
Because I mean, even it's county jail, the name is different, but I mean, pretty much all the things are must be same. I'm guessing. Is it the same? Like you live in the same what do you call that?
A cell.
Cell, yeah.
Yeah, you're in a cell. You have a little mattress that's crappy.
So it's exactly like prison.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
This is crazy. So, okay, tell me more about this experience. So, in those 60 days, I'm pretty sure you didn't had your phone, laptop, or any of electronic device, right? Or did you?
No, no, no.
Right? So, when you are 60 days in one place, obviously your mind is running through so many fucking things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to know, like, what was going in your head, like, for those 60 days?
Well, so no, because the first thing that gets you is how like you're just sitting there bored. You know, you realize how long 60 days is, and you're just thinking about like what you're gonna try to do when you get out or whatever. You're gonna try to go to work or whatever. But yeah, it's just really annoying how it's not quite it's quiet and loud at the same time. Like it's boring, like a dead type of feeling to it. But there's random yelling and shit. So it's a weird place to be at. It's not a good place to be. But yeah, that was pretty much.
So, and you also mentioned earlier you had a choice between probation and doing 2 months county jail,
Right.
right? Just explain what happens in probation as well.
So probation is like they give you whatever your suspended sentence is. So mine was 60 days.
Right.
It was a suspended sentence, but they gave me 18 months probation. So for every month, I would have to go and talk to a probation officer,
Right.
and she would just basically ask me, if I've been staying out of trouble, and I would have to pay what they call restitution, which is kind of like court costs or whatever, just a little fee, and that was pretty much it. But I didn't want to deal with that for 18 months. I thought like, let me just go ahead and get this over with for 2 months, and
I mean, it's a very, very bold decision. I mean, I can't think of, like, if I had the option going to meet a officer for 18 months or going to county jail for 2 months, like, for me, it's a no brainer to go to do the probation because I'm not stuck anywhere. Like, I don't get that feeling of being in jail or prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, but for me, I just wanted to get it over with. It was I don't know if I think it was a good decision at this point. The way I look at it, it was a decision I made. It's what it is. But yeah, that was pretty much the reason. I just didn't want to deal with that for a year and a half instead of doing 60 days. But
I mean, it's crazy. So this uh, incidents or case in your life, this happened when you were 17 and now you are 25, right?
mm-hmm.
So did it made a big impact in your life, or was it just a normal thing just because like going to county jail is normal in America? Like how was it?
No, for me, it opened my eyes. I had to deal with my temper and stuff, and so I didn't wanna go back. I didn't want to make this a common thing going back and forth to jail. So for me, it did make an impact because you try to calm down a little bit and think things through better. So yeah, it did make an impact. I think it happened to rehabilitate me. But I was given a good, I was given a chance. They could have sent me to prison and all of that. But yeah, I think it changed how I look at things. Sure.
Like, can you give me an example? Like what was the difference in looking at things before and after?
Well, because at 17, you're pretty much used to high school, right? And so you can fight in high school, just not like in the main school like we did. Like that was stupid. Like you could fight at other places, and like so that's the end of fighting, right? But when you go to jail that was the first time I went to jail, and it's like yeah, common sense. This is illegal. You know what I mean? So yeah, you don't let things escalate to a certain degree. You try to watch who you hang out with, watch who your friends are, just stuff like that, stuff that you really not really thinking about in high school. So yeah.
I mean, you say these things casually, and it like honestly surprised me because I know a little bit about your background. We have been talking behind the camera a bit, and you even told me that it's normal for you to be around guns.
Yeah, yeah.
So again,
Yeah, I'm not a
since
felon. Yeah, no.
no, I know that, but you say like where you grew up, like around
Right.
you, guns were normal.
Yeah, sure. There's two distinct groups, right? So guns in a criminal sense weren't necessarily normal, right? People had them or whatever, but like I said, I was like a teenager, so I wasn't really around that much. But also there was like people who hunted, and there was the understanding of a gun range and things to that effect. So yeah, guns were fairly accessible, but like I didn't shoot until I was 18. You know what I mean? Because you can't get a gun and shoot like that. But yeah, guns were accessible, and I kind of knew about them and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, I recently went to the gun range, and I mean, my experience was crazy because it was my first time holding a gun,
Okay.
and I can't explain, I can't put it in words, like how was the feeling, but it felt something good. I don't know how to explain that. It's just one of those things where you have to experience it.
Yeah.
You know,
You'd like to learn more about it, like get better at it.
no, I'm not saying like in terms of skilling. I'm just saying like in terms of when you like hold the gun and like you shoot and like
Yeah.
and like that's like it's I don't know. It's like it's sort of like a meditation. And I think a lot of people even have sort of a habit here in America because I met a few people and they had like bought up their like whole kit with them, and like I was talking to them, it was crazy. Like it's just very normal here to like come and like just shoot some rounds and just go back home.
Yeah. You sound like an American when you say that it's a meditation to shoot. You sound like an American saying
Is
that.
it does it like Loki did feel like that.
Yeah, it was great. It's amazing. Yeah. But you gotta, that control and trying to, for me, it was, dealing with, when the round breaks off,
Yeah.
it's like it's an issue, right? It's
Yeah.
not normal. So you got to learn how to deal with that, and yes, it's a good mode of control, right? Being able to shoot and being able to draw your gun correctly and put it back correctly, yeah. So I really went into the gun safety part side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it first time when you were 18.
Yeah, around
Right.
that time, yeah.
But you have not shot anyone, right?
No, no.
I'm messing with you. You even told me that it's normal for you to be around guns.
Yeah, yeah.
So again,
Yeah, I'm not a felon. Yeah, no.
no, I know that, but you say like where you grew up, like around you, guns were normal.
Yeah, sure. There's two distinct groups, right? So guns in a criminal sense weren't necessarily normal, right? People had them or whatever, but like I said, I was like a teenager, so I wasn't really around that much. But also there was like people who hunted, and there was the understanding of a gun range and things to that effect. So yeah, guns were fairly accessible, but like I didn't shoot until I was 18. You know what I mean? Because you can't get a gun and shoot like that. But yeah, guns were accessible, and I kind of knew about them and things like that. Yeah, those I did like 57 days of it, so I actually had a check. I think I had two checks actually. One the pay period that was coming, and then after that, and I didn't have any money outside of that. But I was a teenager; I didn't really need it. But yeah, I wanted to really get back to work and not get in trouble again, not deal with that again.
So, does it affect your work now because they check your CV, the like background check and all that sort? Like, does it?
No, no. In North Carolina, I can pass a background check actually, because that was a decent amount. It was a misdemeanor anyways, so it's not a felony. And I think after 7 years like that, I think it gets people. They look at you haven't gotten in trouble since then. So yeah, I'm good employment wise.
And what did you do like after that? Then?
I just still doing fast food and stuff. I'm trying to focus on my social media. Trying to do that. Both political and cultural conversations. Like how we're doing. Just a cultural conversation, nothing controversial or anything. So
No,
yeah,
but no, you can say controversial things. I love controversial things. That's what like goes viral.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but so you said you want to do social media, and you have mentioned earlier as well you want to do political stuff,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Like you, and one like that day when we were talking about, like you had like really interesting views, right?
yeah.
So what do you think about the current administration?
Or the Trump administration, I think he's doing a good job. I think President Trump's doing a good job. So the issue is, his base, although the people that voted for President Trump, they have the majority right now, right? Us, we have the majority right now because I voted for President Trump. And so the argument is that he's leading us into another war or whatever. But that's not the case. There's nothing benevolent about airstrikes. This is a bad thing, but in this world, in this situation where you're the president of the United States, sometimes you have to take initiative, and I think that that's what he did with these airstrikes. As far as the political opposition, first they said they weren't doing a nuclear program. Now the argument is it didn't set the nuclear program back enough. So that's currently what's going on with the administration. But I overall agree with how he's conducted his second term.
So okay, so explain me like I'm a 5-year-old kid
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any knowledge about America,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanna know like what's this thing about Trump that there are some people who are absolutely crazy for him and love him. In our language, in our in India we call them bhakt, andhbhakt, which is
Right.
like it translates into uh, like blindly following someone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I see Trump has this following in America. Some people are absolutely like crazy for him, and some people just hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I met a few people. They literally ask you during a conversation, "Do you support Trump or not?" And if you say yes, they won't talk to you because you're a Trump supporter. I have met some people at the bar. I've met few girls even. They have like such a strong, opinionated view about politics for Trump, and I don't know why they have created that such strong image. So, like, explain to me what is this all about? What are some of the things which you think Trump um, has actually done good for America, and some of the things which like people hate him for? Like,
Right.
try to be neutral.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so here's the thing. So the reason why Trump is so polarizing, right? Some people really like him. Some people won't talk to you if you talk to him. Well, the thing about America is that two things happen with America. Number one, America happened as far as the inception of the country, right? The Revolutionary War, all of that. That's just normal. That's how a normal country comes about, expands, and tries to create a government, judiciary, things like that. So somewhere along the lines, around probably past the 1980s, right? Everything had built up to a point where the academia and the studying of things had become sort of its own culture and sort of the prevailing culture. And so you have people who believe that looking at the Constitution in a traditional way, or looking at certain things that worked for the country, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, that's sort of backwards, so to speak, right? And so you have like you have probably grandmothers, mothers, and daughters who believe that the country is meant to be this bureaucratic, 20,000 page legislation type of thing. And so when you have somebody like Trump who's trying to not just bring tradition, but sort of represent the opposite of that, right? The shorthand, he's a shorthand for the opposite of that. Then, that side chose to be vitriolic about it and say that he's, racist, misogynistic, and things to that effect. And so that's why he's so polarizing. But also, you have people on the other side who feel that we should return back to a more traditional type of a country, even if it's not like a we're going to pretend like it's 1850. No, a modern but just more traditional type of a country.
So,
Yeah.
so basically, if I try to boil it down, you're saying if I have to like boil down, I can say Trump is doing what now it is what's needed now, right?
Yes.
So you're saying we live in a modern society. modern world. So we have modern problems, and he's trying to solve the modern problems with today's day and time, right?
Yeah, with a more traditional approach. Or seen as a more traditional approach.
Or seen as a more traditional approach, you're saying.
Right.
Okay, okay. So the people who are hating on him, they don't like the traditional approach.
No, they believe that we've gotten past that we should get past that. We should be like this administrative state.
Can you please try to elaborate and explain me what is the traditional approach you're talking about exactly?
So like when you're looking at like it's almost like nationalism, but not for a country, for like cities and certain communities and areas. It's not like down at the city level, but it's more or less you're voting for things for the government to do, and in doing that, you may a lot. Basically, it's kind of like the slogan that they had: you reduce the quality of life for Americans and increase the quality of life for the rest of the world. Sort of like this sacrifice thing. But there are Americans here who believe that they don't have enough, that they're not being represented as much as other interests. So President Trump kind of represents the people who feel that the federal government needs to be doing a lot more for people in America instead of all of these academic, high, ideas type of thing. Like NATO, which is an alliance of a lot of different countries. I mean, it's just gotten a little too big, and it's not the country. America's gotten a little too big and focused on things abroad instead of focusing on the people. That's kind of what Trump represents, and that's what people don't like about him.
I mean, from the outside perspective, I think what media shows to me is Trump is doing good for America. So I'm not able to understand who are the people who hate him. But I think you are a Trump supporter, so you're not giving me the right facts.
I mean, people come from good families,
Yeah.
or even if they don't come from like a middle class family, they benefited. They don't understand that they benefited from what they may consider outdated, right? They benefit from a certain like the whole climate change situation, right? So the fossil fuel industry that the whole world uses has been useful for this whole time, and now because we have all of this stability to think about green energy and things to that effect, we're ignorantly trying to break the petroleum, the fossil fuel system in order to go to an ecosystem, not understanding that the eco model, the eco theory wouldn't even exist without the fossil fuel system working in reality. So we certainly shouldn't break the only thing that works in reality for a theory that would only be possible from this thing. You see, so that's kind of the big point.
No, but how is this thing connected with that?
Right, well, because you have academics in America, well, not academics, but like I said, people who disagree with Trump, who benefit from a strong patriotic country. They benefit not just from the military, but from the way we vote, the laws, and things to that effect. But then they also want to break it because they think they can help people who are marginalized. But these supposed marginalized people are in America, and the best place they can possibly be in, you're gonna break a system that got them here, that got them to a better situation.
Yeah.
So that's what they don't understand. And Trump, I don't know if Trump necessarily understands all of that, but Trump represents the having respect for what got you here and still making progress if you can, but don't break what was working. So that's what Trump is basically saying as far as we can go all the way back, like almost to I think he says make America great again. He's talking about like the '80s or something. Yeah. Yeah, it was prosperous and things like that.
I mean, America is still prosperous, still at the top, sitting with the biggest GDP, biggest numbers, biggest tech companies, biggest everything. I mean, but yeah.